Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Catalyst webinar series presented by the Education Committee for the Southern California PGA. The Catalyst webinar series is a weekly educational platform for creating success and change in your club and career. We're excited and proud to welcome Chris Lohman of St. Street Marketing and Greg Knuth of underpar.com. Those of you that know, Chris Lohman is Eric Lohman's twin. Chris is a partner with St. Street Marketing, a boutique branding and digital marketing agency based in Orange County. After growing up and playing junior golf out of Palm Springs, he played and coached at the University of Washington. He stayed close to the sport since forming his agency, working with golf verticals including resorts and courses, hospitality, apparel, consumer goods, and media. He recently joined the SCPGA marketing committee and works closely with Nikki and the team to shape the current and future marketing efforts of the section. Greg Knuth has been in the golf industry for over 22 years. With a focus on database development, one of his first companies captured over 1 million golfer email addresses. This led to the creation of underpar.com. Underpar has partnered with more than 700 properties across the US and Canada, creating 4,000 plus email-based golf promotions. The company actively works with 14 state golf associations and several PGA sections to increase member engagement and member growth through email marketing initiatives. Good morning, guys. Welcome to the Catalyst webinar series. How you doing this morning?
Doing well. Good morning.
Very well. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, special thanks to the section.
Thank you very much.
Special thanks to the section for having us out this morning.
Indeed. Well, thank you very much for being here. As you guys are familiar with this medium, go ahead and take the members on the webinar through the presentation. We'll be monitoring the questions through the question box, and when you wrap it up about 45 minutes from now, we'll open it up to Q&A. So thanks again.
Yeah, thanks, John. You ready, Greg?
Very ready. Let's go.
Okay. So about 8 months ago in earnest, Greg and I started working pretty closely with Nikki and her team that supports marketing on a bigger initiative that was centered around email marketing, growing a database for the section to be able to market to golfers in the market, to then leverage that database to distribute smart marketing that supports the mission of the section, promoting the properties, the courses, and the coaches in particular. And as part of that set of that scope of work, what we did is we ended up surveying, member-led facilities throughout Southern California and received a number of submissions from private and public facilities. And today what we're going to do is share a webinar centered around marketing, but it's going to be powered by the insights that we gleaned from that survey itself. And if you haven't already figured out one of the key themes that came from that survey, do you get email marketing? So we're going to come back to email marketing a few times today, more than a few. You guys know just as well as we all do, I'm an avid golfer. You guys are operators or moving up the chain inside the section to eventually run your own facilities, but the market is booming. It's crazy. Many facilities are sold out. Courses are charging more money than they ever have before. People are spending even more money on property than they ever have before. It's an exciting time. It's a scary time. It's a bizarre time. And the eventuality, the hourglass in the middle it's going to come to an end. Thankfully, for all of us, it's going to come to an end. It's going to settle down. It's going to settle in. But the question is really, are you going to be ready for when that does? And what is that going to look like? Is the market going to rebound to where it was before? Is it going to stay at a higher level than it was before because more people are out there playing golf now and falling in love with the sport that we all love? We don't know, but we better make sure that we're planning for it. There's 3 key takeaways that I and Greg want to make sure that you guys walk away with today. I'm going to just share them right up front. If this is all you get, you can zone out a little bit. Just don't tell Tom and Jeff and those that are going to give you guys your credits today. So the key takeaways with regards to digital marketing, branding, so marketing in general, you really need to stay open-minded to the ever-changing landscape. Don't get stuck in the current. Stay focused on how things are going today and be open-minded to evolving, on a quarter-to-quarter, year-to-year basis. Email marketing. Get email marketing. Be good at email marketing. Invest in email marketing. Build your database. Nurture your database. Squeeze out value from that database. That goes for privates, publics, resorts, and the like. All forms of properties. And then all the marketing that you guys are doing, make sure that you're measuring. Look at the analytics. Make sure that there's somebody on your team that understands those platforms, understands the analytics tools. I mean, just can read an Excel spreadsheet to see how engaged people are and what kind of value you're getting from the investment. So one of the first questions that one of the leading questions that we asked during the survey, or in the survey, was quite simply, what is, in the opinion of the surveyor, what is the most effective marketing channel? And it's a bit of a loaded question, because as you can see on the right, we included kind of the traditional digital channels with some non-traditional channels. And the key findings here aren't a surprise. Referral marketing led significantly, followed by social media, and then followed by email. We're going to kind of circle back to referral marketing here in a bit. But what's important to see is that across the section, our properties are trying a lot of different types of marketing, which is good. And every property is different, so they're going to need to. But again, I harken back to one of my recommendations. To what degree are people actually measuring the effectiveness of referral marketing, social media marketing, email marketing, ad buying, and which channel is most effective, and which channel is supporting other channels, and to what degree do they understand the data? Greg, you want to jump in here? I don't want to just chat all over you.
Oh, you're doing a good job. I think that I think it's very easy for to see these answers. I think that as this call goes on, we're going to see some more true data, but these percentages are what I expected to see before the data came out. So
for me to see social media as high as it is wasn't a surprise. But I think that oftentimes social media is just this huge bucket. It's kind of like saying web marketing or traditional marketing. And I think it's important for people to understand the variant options for social media and the different ways that people can execute it. All right, so a set of questions that we asked during the survey, or in the survey, was the current membership base for private and the current membership base for public, whether that be annual members or card holders. These numbers aren't going to surprise anybody. On the private member clubs are going to be primarily in the 500 member range. But for those of you who maybe do question how many cards are sold at public and semi-private facilities that are throughout Southern California, that data might be of interest to you. You can see that they're 18% sell greater than 2,500 cards, and that's a significant number, right? And the question is, well, how did they get to that number, right? How do you get from 500 to 2,500? That's 500% more. Somebody's making an investment, somebody's doing a lot of marketing, somebody's probably been in the market a long time. And then the third chart is combining private and public, and really looking at what the projected budgeted increase is through 2021, so through next calendar year. And a key takeaway here is that there's some people who have some aggressive aspirations. Now, are those aspirations fueled by the current market state of affairs and this surge of interest in golf because there's a limited availability of other recreational options, as we all know, because of COVID? Or is this a realistic budgeted, prospective budget for 2021? And if that is truly their goal, how are they going to get there? What will they be doing different? Because what we do know is that golfers, albeit are still, going to play the game, they're just not going to play as frequently. And the whole neighborhood isn't going to play, just the homes on the left side of the neighborhood. Now, when you look at both of those charts together, in terms of the investment that people are going to be making in marketing, I think this is really key. And this was eye-opening to us in that, and it speaks to the last set of comments that I made, that there is a desire to increase, fairly significantly the membership base. Now, these are collective stats for both private and public, but there is a desire by 25% of those surveyed to grow their membership base by 10 or greater percent. And 10% is, for an established property, that's remarkable. Arguably they've never had a 10% growth since their third year of existence. So 25% want to grow by 25% want to grow by a minimum of 10%. But in terms of commitment, right now, we asked the question: what kind of investment are you making? What kind of dollar investment, hard cash, are you making to help increase your membership footprint, to increase those annual members? And 37% said less than $5,000. Now, that was a bit of an open-ended, nebulous question, because they put a staff person half-time on marketing, which there are staff people working half-time on marketing at a lot of large properties, a lot of large public properties, resort properties in Southern California. That's a huge expense. Or on the private side, if they've got an assistant professional or a professional that's spending 25% of the time, that's a huge expense. But for 37% to convey that they're spending $5,000 or less, and 25% saying they want to grow by 10%, there's something off there. Somebody is wanting more than is very likely going to be attainable unless they get really, really smart at marketing right now and double down on the correct channels. And we're going to get into that. The channels that are going to drive the greatest return on investment. When I see this, Greg, it makes me think of you.
Yes, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Go back to the next slide. The thing that really fascinated me is that I would almost love to be a fly on the wall in some of these conversations. You try to put in perspective. If my club has 300 members and I feel like I could add 30 members in the next year, I would love to be an owner, operator, board member and have somebody come and say, hey, we're going to grow the membership by 30 members. And the next question I would ask would be pretty aspirational. I mean, that's at least, 2 new members a month. Like, how are we going to do that? Oh, the best part of the plan is we're only going to have to spend like $4,500. It doesn't add up that way. Add up.
Now, the first slide showed that the greatest perceived, or the most effective perceived channel for marketing is referral. And on the private side, referral marketing is certainly going to be a core focus, if not the number one focus, right? But one thing to keep in mind, that referral marketing only works if the messaging is right, if the incentive is right.
I don't, what's the incentive? I mean, if you're like saying, hey, I can't get a tea time right now because my course is so busy, and I'm going to make sure that I get 3 of my friends to join too, so we're just busier. Where's the incentive?
I think the focus has got to be not today, right? What's the incentive that you communicate today that's going to be coming to fruition next year and the year down the line? And then on the referral side, it's really not today. It's all about join now and be part of something that's going to be long term, and that you're going to, obviously squeeze the most out of based on what your needs are into the future. So if you want to grow, You need to be comfortable with spending and investing staff resources. And then to get back to Greg, there's not a single school book, college book that we all open and read, certainly. There's not a single lesson in the business program for the PGA of America. There's not a single case study throughout business in the world that doesn't support this statement. Email marketing has the highest return on investment for small businesses. Unquestionably has the highest return. If there are people who have opted in to an email database, they have raised their hand, they have pointed their finger at you and said, please talk to me, share with me, engage with me. I want to hear from you. If they like you on Facebook, if they follow you on Instagram, if they dance with you on TikTok, that doesn't mean anything other than they inherently have an interest. They're compelled. But email marketing, when somebody joins your newsletter, they want to build a relationship with you. And you need to look at them as a prospective loyalist and somebody who not only can become a customer or is a customer, but somebody who can advocate for you. But in order for them to do that, you have to provide awesome services, an awesome golf experience, great food, great customer service, right? And you really truly have to market to them in a way via email that they understand what you're trying to say, what you're trying to get across, and allow them the opportunity to share it. But if your email isn't structured the right way, if it doesn't look right in mobile, if it isn't compelling and has the right call to actions, you're not going to get that 10% you've been budgeting for with your investment of $5,000 or less. Greg, this is you. Again, when I see Bryson DeChambeau, I think of you, but it has more to do with that little chub than it does your, the bend in the shaft. You're a new marketing strategy kind of guy. Why don't you take this one?
Well, I mean, we're talking membership growth. I'll tell you, one of the things that we were talking about yesterday, you and I, was the right call to action. I've even had this conversation at the highest levels with Hyatt, Marriott, Hilton, the big hotel brands, where all of their marketing, let's say for a destination stay and play package, is based around book now. Book now, book now. And just when we tweak it to, buy now, this exclusive opportunity to buy now for the next 2 weeks with this giant 12 months, 10 months, 8 months to redeem, there's this significant 200, 300% growth in sales. Because the reality is that I'm not going to look at a $600 to $700 package and just open up my wallet without talking to my wife. I mean, there's no way. I'm going to say, Dave, I just booked us for, October 23rd. I know it's tomorrow, but there's a great opportunity for us to stay at blank property. It's just not going to happen. But if I know my purchase is guaranteed, I know if I can get a refund and I got to jump on a special price point, and then figure out a time between now and March of 2021 to go on a trip, I feel a lot more at ease. A lot more at ease. And on the private club side, I was telling you, when I was working very closely with the Carolinas Golf Association, the Carolinas PGA in Florida, I spent 2 years living out in North Carolina, and I would drive down the road and I heard something about a wonderful private club. I was driving by, I was interested. I emailed the membership director. She invited me to come to a mixer and meet some potential members, which was like the last thing I was interested in doing. I wanted to know about the course. I wanted to play the course. No one even offered me the opportunity to play the course. I was like, there's no way I'm going to spend $30,000 on a down payment on a course I never played, but I'm going to plan to play here all the time. So people want comfort. People want to make purchases, but they want to feel comfortable and feel like they have the right information and they're not, making their life harder, by making a purchase, that their life is going to improve in some better way. That's the biggest message I would say for this slide.
I just want to interject another anecdote, totally, separate of your story there, where they didn't want you on the golf course because maybe they were a little fearful. I've played with you before. 62% of those surveys said new strategies from previous years. So they're focused on some new strategies. A couple of years ago, my company was retained for a multi-month program with the Irvine Company to take a look at their resort properties, facilities, so the hotels, the restaurants, the golf courses, and to help them determine which social media channels and websites that they should shutter, that they should close, and which social media channels they should merge. So whether it was a restaurant would merge with maybe the hotel property, parent hotel property channel. So in refining and in purging, you could argue that they were looking to do new strategies. So a new strategy isn't just adding more and more and more. A new strategy or a new outlook is refining and getting smart and investing in, again, those channels that you feel are going to be most effective, hopefully driven by data, or at least a strong hypothesis of learning from peers or having done some desktop research or having taken a class. All right, so this is a little bit mind-numbing to look at, something that you should definitely review more in detail after today's presentation. And we've combined a couple of questions here so that it's easier for us to present. But what we asked those who were surveyed was to provide us a summary, basically a checkbox, check all that apply, the channels in which they currently are marketing. And this was tied to membership and card sales, so private and public. So of the marketing channels that they currently are utilizing, referral program led. So when referral, email marketing, digital ads, paid, social media, incentivizing memberships, co-branded partnerships, online contesting, digital ads, Google, digital ads, other. Digital ads, other, for example, would be buying an email, let's say, buying an email send directly with Golf Week, or running direct ads on golf.com. So that would be a digital ads, other. Kind of key takeaways for us: referral program, perfect. People who love the experience share it with others, they get others to join. They better have, and think about it, right? You better nurture those people who are currently members. You better give them the tools and incentive to refer their friends in, and those friends that come in better have a excellent private club type experience, whether they're at the private club or whether they're at a public or a resort facility. Now, really, there's two data points here that are highlighted in bold. So at 43% with digital ads, and I'm sure the 43% is, that percentage is greatly influenced more on the, by the public, by the resort side of those that were surveyed versus the private. However, living in South County, Orange County, I know of which private clubs right now are marketing because I see it. So over the last couple of years, Dove, Kodo, El Nigel, they're investing in digital ads. But a key takeaway from this specific data line, this data point, is that 43% are spending money on digital ads, whether it's $1 or $5,000 or whatever. 52%, I should explain this, 52% of those that are spending 43% answered, yes, that's an effective channel. 29% said no. Okay, look, lessons learned, that's good. Remember, evolution means learning and evolving. But 19%, so they have no idea if digital ads is an effective channel, if digital ad spending is effective. And you'll see, if you go down on the right side, in terms of an opinion on the effectiveness of certain channels, 19%, 14%, okay, incentivization, right? Incentivizing memberships, that was 5%. Common sense, incentivize, you're going to drive you're able to see memberships, right? Because you're going to have probably a direct correlation between a program you're running and whether or not they've signed up for that specific program. But then co-branded partnerships, 33%. Online contesting, 33%. Digital ads Google, 24. Digital ads other, 29. Our takeaway is that people out there don't know how to measure the effectiveness of their ad buying. They don't know how to measure the effectiveness of the investment of the time, staff time, into these different marketing channels. And they probably, and this does get a little bit more technical and is at a 401 level, you know, they probably struggle a little bit looking at how one channel affects another channel to make both channels more effective. So I highly encourage you to, and you could do this through Nikki and Anthony and Bryce and the team to gain access to, you know, maybe some best practices on how to do some analysis into the marketing and advertising that you're doing. So if those guys are on this this webinar, let's make sure that we get you those resources so you can share it with the section. All right, one key or one interesting call out that we wanted to share was when we, so that last slide, when we actually looked at the data and we broke out private and we broke out public, there was some commonalities in answers. And, you know, on the private side, in terms of 1, 2, 3 of the most effective, so not what they're doing, but the perception of most effective forms of marketing for private, incentivized programming, so incentive programs, referral program, and email marketing. And on the public side, so card sales, right? An incentive program, check. Email marketing, check. Referral program, check. Those all make logical sense. There's no surprise with what we just read. But there's one common theme throughout. There's one common executional factor throughout, is that each of those, to be truly effective, would need to be supported by a really good, strong, clean email program. Because, and I know email marketing is email marketing, but to deliver strategic messages, a compelling offer, a relatable program that's centered around incentives and referrals, you have to have smart email marketing. The emails have to be drafted the right way, the copy. They have to be laid out the right way, the creative, and you have to use the right delivery channels, the email service provider that's going to allow for good delivery. And then you have to measure how effective it is, because you can create the world's greatest email, but if it isn't easy to read on an iPhone and you don't measure the effectiveness because you're not using the right email service provider, you're not going to get to your 10% mark by only investing $5,000. Let's just sit back for a second, take a breath. 22 days. All right. 10 ways to optimize your email marketing program. We're going to get through this pretty quick. I do want to highlight the picture on the right. So working with Nikki and Anthony and again the team, we created, so Saint Street, my team, we created a new email program, or we're in the process of creating a new email program, like a comprehensive program with the section. And one of the deliverables as part of that program is was to create a smart way to market the PGA .coach initiative that is right now highlighting our coaches in the section. And so what we did is we created a email template to be delivered through MailChimp that was easy to templatize and work through so we could update it every month. That was very clear, very clean, so that it could be easily viewed in a mobile phone browser, in a portrait mode, an iPhone, right? And this is a great initiative here that the SCPGA invested time and resources, we invested time and resources, and now our coaches are starting to reap the benefits of it. I know that Randy and Allison, Gavin, Steve, they were featured. Each of them have, since this email has gone out, it's gone out twice to a database of over 34,000 people. each of them have received inquiries and leads through PGA.coach. It's leading to assessments and lessons. That's significant visibility for our coaches. And I know that Anthony is implementing a program where every month now 4 coaches are going to be featured. Just one of many initiatives that the team is pulling together in support of the section. All right, so 10 ways to optimize your email marketing program. Don't just email the email. Look, I know that Tuesdays, it's Taco Tuesday. It is everywhere. It's Taco Tuesday. And you might have the world's greatest Taco Tuesday experience at your property, but I'm pretty sure you don't need to remind everybody that it's Tuesday and that it's Taco Tuesday. You might be able to fill up that space with something else that's maybe a little short form instruction video, maybe highlight a renovation to the property, maybe do it behind the scenes with one of your staff. But again, just say it out loud right now. It's Tuesday, it's Taco Tuesday. You don't need to continue to market it. All right, keep your content fresh and relevant. Create a recurring cadence. This is important. Like themes and delivery. Don't just be willy-nilly. Monarch Beach does a great job. They have their Monday Mulligan series that, as of today, has been produced by 3 different companies. It's featured over 10 professionals, and their database, I don't think it's a secret to a lot of people here, is greater than 90,000, and it's because they've created themes, and they have constant or a consistent delivery, and they invest more than $5,000 a year, and thus their database continues to grow annualized at somewhere in the neighborhood of 12 to 18%, depending on year. All right, segment. We'll come back to this in a bit, but it's important to segment your database. The forthcoming women's member shouldn't necessarily be marketed to your primarily male audience. A junior initiative, if you have this capabilities within your database, should really aggressively be marketed to those that are interested in junior golf, but not so much those that haven't really engaged with that kind of marketing for a number of years, or maybe they're just, they're a 65-year-old male or female that has a card, right? I don't know if that's the best use of their inbox to send them an email about a junior golf program coming up.
And then don't be afraid to survey your database. I mean, if it's an elderly member that has no grandchildren, no children, don't send them information about PGA Junior League. But if you send an email to your overall database, you say, we have PGA Junior League, information coming out in about 2 weeks, please click here to sign up for more information. Well, now you have a segmented list of people that you can hammer about Junior League because they asked you to. That's a completely different thing, and you're not going to see opt-outs. If I'm an older member and you're hitting me up about Junior League, the worst thing you want to see is someone get bored, don't think they know you, and opt out. Worst thing.
If your company by chance uses MailChimp or Constant Contact, that level of software as a service, which is in the $100 to $500 a month range for email delivery, you can send an email out that actually has checkboxes, and that will say, are you interested in junior golf? Check. Senior golf, Taco Tuesday, a number of themes. And then when they're checking, if they're already part of a database, they'll be tagged. And then what you're able to do is segment based on the tags the next time you want to send out a junior golf email to those people who have said, send me a junior golf email. If you don't have tools like that, because maybe you're leveraging one of these kind of global software as a services that also powers your booking engine and your POS, some of those, by the way, aren't the world's greatest for delivering emails. What you can do is use Google Forms, and you could send out a survey that way. There's going to be a little bit of manual implementation, but take your learnings, create segments based on those learnings inside of your email service provider, and then market, again, the initiatives to those people who have opted in to receive marketing of said initiatives. All right, pay attention to the metrics. Professionalism, we've already talked about it. I love the email template we created over here on the right. Very simple to click the call to action so that interested students can connect with Allison. And so ask and deliver, that speaks directly to what Greg said, survey. Be clever. All right, now this is something that is very important to me as a marketer, as a copywriter. I think it's important to convey a personality, right? Those brands that are able to establish brand equity and a brand identity that's differentiated from other companies in their sector are able to build deeper relationships. Again, statistics show it. Be clever, be interesting, be different. Don't just be green grass and sandy bunkers and Taco Tuesday. Be clever. Exclusive, it's a good word, and then mobile optimization. Greg, powered by your research. You got yourself muted?
No, I'm here. I was just thinking for a second what you just said. When I stood in front of the National Golf Course Owners Association doing a talk about this very subject, I'm gonna go like 10 years ago, I asked somebody in the audience, what their steak dinner was at the club, and the guy said $16.95, and I said, would you give a steak dinner away for an email? Would you give a steak dinner for an email? The guy said, you're out of your mind. And I said, well, what if I told you that, you would get $21 back if you gave me 16? Well, then there was silence. Going back to looking at social media ads, it's going to be very common for somebody, your owner, your team, to say, hey, we're going to throw money into Facebook, we're going to throw money into Instagram, we're going to do this, and having no idea, what the outcome is going to be. Everybody on this call has to become hyper-focused on exactly what it costs to get an email. I know for a fact that we operate anywhere. Sometimes we're operating at 50 cents at under par. Sometimes we're operating at $3. But when an average return of 21, you are going to grow. So on a daily basis for the last 20 years, I have always been focused and thought of growing email databases. There is nothing but a positive return. You will make more money the bigger the list you have. Always. You're of more value to people. And I said this to Chris the other day, would you rather have 3 million likes or 3 million emails? It's a no-brainer. I'd rather have 3 million emails. End of story.
If you're curious how your property fits with this specific metric, or how your property is different than this specific metric, visit Underpar's B2B website, which is partner with Underpar. You'll see a tool that my team created that has an algorithm built into it that allows you to input your information. So the size of your database, the amount of money golfers are spending per visit, per round, and then some other factors, and it'll spit out what your average return on an email is. It'll also show if you grow your database from 5,000 to 10,000, prospectively what that will do to your budget, your projections for the next 12 months. All right, database growth target. So we moved off of membership. Now we're talking about database growth, smart database, segmented database, good marketing, targeting the database is going to deliver sales, which we just talked about, $21 per email if done the right way. So we broke out this chart like we did the similar one. So we've got private chart 1, public chart 2, and then the percent of budgeted increase collectively of privates and public in chart number 3. So this is database growth, right? I'm not going to drill into the numbers a whole lot right here. I think it's important though for those that are interested to see private and for those that are interested to see public. Couple of takeaways. Private courses have databases. They market to those databases. This isn't just a database that they inform that there's going to be a member guest coming up. This is a marketing database so that they can, again, grow and counteract churn, because that's something that just happens naturally as the members grow older and such. Now on the public side, this is very interesting. And Greg and I and Nikki and Bryce and Dave Kuhn and the team recently executed a promotion with the intent of developing a database, a direct-to-consumer database for the SCPGA. And what we did is we created an initiative, a giveaway program called Free Golf for a Year. We had 12 different properties that participated, 10 public, 2 private, including Sherwood. Rob, good luck this week, today. And what we did was we had each golf course give a twosome and then made the commitment to market their participation in this promotion twice on social and email. And so we worked with the 10 public facilities, because the private facilities, we didn't ask if they marketed it, but the 10 public facilities, we worked with them to optimize an email so they could send it out to their databases. And what we came to find that the range of the size of the databases of the public golf courses ranged from as small as 11,000 to as high as nearly 100,000. That is a chasm level of difference. So there's a great opportunity for those that have a smaller number, and those that have a larger number need to be more strategic and focused so that they can increase, their database. Now on the right, you can see that there's great aspirations to increase the budget increase the size of the database through 2021. Again, we're going to come back to a chart similar to membership that shows on the database growth side, which doesn't just lead to more members, but leads to people who try the golf course for the first time, maybe participate in a cultivation event that Greg was invited to in North Carolina and such. But the desire to grow a database by greater than 10%, a quarter of those surveyed said that that was what they had planned through the end of 2021, 10%. But nearly 50% of those surveyed were going to invest less than $5,000 in that. Now, Underpar is different than, Arrowwood or Arroyo, or, these are like a golf course to Underpar, albeit they work well together, the different types of companies. Greg was saying that he's able to increase his database with an investment of anywhere from 50 cents to $3 per email. I can tell you that it's less expensive for a public golf facility to increase their database as it is for a public, or for-profit company like an Underpar. But $5,000 isn't going to get it. It's not going to do it. Similar to growing your membership, we saw the same numbers in terms of the marketing approach for database growth. New strategies, check, staying the course. Those are people I think that really probably are still wondering, how to get there. And 9% needed some help, staff, budget, new ideas. All right, we've seen this chart previously. Again, something you should take a look at a little more closely after this webinar is over. But the key takeaways: marketing strategies breakdown for database growth, referral makes sense. Digital ads, absolutely. This is when digital ads really come in and are smart. Okay, social media marketing, email marketing, incentivization campaigns to grow your database. It's very much on the public side. And then you've got Google and golf.com, co-branded partnerships, online contesting down at the bottom. So the key ones that I want to highlight. So 57% of those surveyed are running ads, but 19% still are confused and don't really know if that's an effective channel to be investing money in. Measurement. All right, 52% email marketing. 81% of those surveyed said it's an effective channel, but only 52% of you are focused on email marketing. All right, 81% say it's good, 52% are doing it. Which one's off? I'm going to go with 81% versus the 52. You guys need to step up. And then the last two, co-branded partnership campaigns and online contesting. Unequivocally, for public properties, resorts, and the like, co-branded partnership campaigns, which is the free golf for a year, a promotion maybe that Monarch does with Travis Matthew, It could be a special initiative that Pelican Hill or a lot of properties are doing with influencers, co-branded partnership campaigns, online contesting, again, free golf for a year. If you want to grow your database, you're on the public side, invest in smart tactics, be aggressive, don't be afraid to give away a twosome, and leverage the brand equity and the database of those people you're partnering with. 12 for free golf for a year, the collective number of the size of the database that was marketed to with 2 emails was nearly 1 million people. 1 million people, and it cost a twosome. Greg spoke on this before. I use a little bit different numbers, but 1,000 email addresses are worth 10 times more than 10,000 Instagram followers. It's one of my favorite photos. I think I put it on Instagram. Build your database. Now, we've talked about it, which best practice is universal for all forms of marketing? Segmentation, targeting. Whether you're buying Facebook ads, make sure you're hitting the right audience of golfers, avid golfers in your market, that be as focused as possible. If it's private, high net worth individuals. If it's public, those people who love golf, like pound golf, be strategic. And that goes down the list for digital, social contests, email, et cetera, et cetera. People ask us, what's a good open rate for emails? If I'm going to invest in an email and I send it out, what percentage should open it? What percentage should click through it? Best day, worst day. You can see here where we've provided what is a statistic that was shared by a company called Campaign Monitor. They're like Constant Contact and MailChimp, and they're a $500 million a year email service provider. But if you're seeing something in the 15 to 20% open rate, well, that's less than 20% of my entire database. I mean, why send it out if only 20% open it up? But here's a thought: send the email out twice. Send the email out the first time to a targeted list, and then send it out a second time, 2 to 4 days later, to all of those people who didn't open the email the first time. You're going to maybe not double that 15%, but you're going to get closer to the number that probably in your mind is going to validate the effort that you put into it. Send them on Tuesdays, don't send them on Saturdays. We recommend actually they're sitting in an inbox in the morning when somebody's waking up and flipping through their emails. Don't send it at the end of the day.
Yeah, Chris, and I also wrote a quick figure down on that slide, is that I've come across too many golf courses across the United States, this isn't just Southern California, that have an email, public facility that has an email database because they have an email confirmation for somebody booking for some. Oh, I have a 25,000 person database. They don't use it effectively at all. They send out an email, about have your wedding, at our facility, 2021, have your wedding here. They have 1% open rate, gives them 250 people open that email. Where if they actually had a 5,000 person list that was cultivated, that was functioning around this statistical open rate, they would have 750 opens. It would be a 200% difference, 300% difference, just by being more effective with the use of their audience in a smaller audience. You can't just be like, oh, I have a 25,000 person database and I'm great at it. It doesn't make a difference if you get 25,000 if you don't know how to use it.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. And our team and Nikki's team, Tom and Nikki's team, we spend 30 minutes a week looking at our current email campaigns that are in production, because they traditionally deliver multiple messages, and it's a new initiative, so I'm pretty sure that most of you haven't seen it yet. But we spend time looking at the current, and then we plan into the future. I think that's important for segmentation, for messaging, and for strategy purposes. Now, this is a top tactics summary here that is specific to the golf industry. So I didn't rip this off of another slide that we present into, B2B, B2B analytics for a technology sector. Now, this is very much for the endemic golf space. We're not going to run through it. This is a takeaway. Consider it a cheat sheet. I think it's important. Maybe you can't do all of these. Maybe some of these don't make any sense, but start circling the ones that you can commit to or the ones that you can be better at and deliver it. So John, I know that we wanted to leave some time for some questions. So I wanted to do that. I know Greg would love to answer questions. Challenge Greg, please, so I can see it. But thank you.
Indeed. Thank you very much, gentlemen. We've got a barrage of questions that have come in through the course of the presentation. Can you talk a little bit about I know you have, and this is going to be an extrapolation on what you've already spoke about. Question came in asking about what kind of carrots should be dangling from these various email marketing campaigns. How much can you give away, and how much is too much?
Greg, I'm going to answer this real quick, and then I want you to jump in. So in terms of carrot, because now we're talking about having a cadence, so Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays, and having multiple themes, newsletters, giveaways, instruction, etc. My recommendation in the form of a carrot is the email needs to be compelling. You don't always need to give away something, but there needs to be a perceived value for those who receive it. Greg.
My thought would be, in speaking to a budget, when you're doing let's say you're doing a contest and you're doing a prize, or let's say you're doing a giveaway, or the next 10 people that, sign up for my newsletter are going to get blank. Maybe it's some free content that you wrote. You have to think about your budget as to what the prize is. If we're working towards very, very cool US Open experiences for 2021, which we've been in discussion about, that's a bigger prize than saying I'm going to give away a free foursome. So you're going to have larger results with larger prizes, but you have to shuffle it, and your budget could be focused on what am I willing to give up, and set that limit so that you're not just going to get carried away and do too much too fast.
Yeah, a good rule of thumb is 3 to 4 large promotions a year and 1 small to medium per month.
Very good.
Thank you. I know I need to get better at digital marketing. Where do I start?
Ask questions. Simple as that. Ask your staff. Ask your peers in the PGA. Ask. Everybody has members who are in the marketing field.
I also would say, do not rely. I love these companies. I love Golf Now. I love Quick 18. I love all these companies, but do not rely on them, to do your marketing. Take your list. If you sign up for MailChimp, if you sign up for HubSpot, for example, HubSpot has academies. They are unbelievable free education courses that you can go through with questions and answers and telling you why you got certain questions wrong, so that you can be educated, on people that know it a lot better than you. So start taking these are free initiatives. Tell your club, tell your ownership, hey, I'm going to control our own database, outside of our T-sheet provider. And we're going to get better at marketing. That's a great first step. Great first step.
Do I need to be worried about collecting emails and like the California Privacy Act?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, very much so. You have to be collecting emails for the purposes that you're saying you're collecting them, and you have to make sure that you always give people the opportunity to opt out of the messaging. You have to make sure that you're not collecting emails from kids, minors. If you're going to be promoting your junior program, be collecting adult emails with a certification button that, you know, has birth date, you know, somebody is certifying that they're older than 18. California has gotten a lot stricter. There's information out there online you can learn very easily if you search the California Privacy Acts. A lot of other states are going to follow outside of California. And yes, I mean, make sure that you're not spamming and make sure you're giving people a chance to opt out.
It'll take you 10 minutes, but read Electric, so the sunglass company, read Electric's privacy policy and terms and condition. It'll be in the footer of their website. Click it, read it, and then go to Underpar. Not partner with Underpar, go to Underpar, read theirs. There's going to be some good insights. You're going to understand the language. A lot of that protective language is there on the website. It's not listed when you run a promotion on Facebook. Just make sure that it's visible and accessible. And usually when somebody wants to opt out, you can support that initiative by allowing people to email you through, just send you a direct email, and then you go into your email service provider, and then your platform, and you just remove them or check them off for receiving emails.
What's the most affordable way to grow a marketing database of qualified prospects?
Contesting with partners.
Absolutely. I think if every course that was on here did free golf for a year on their own, I don't think it's going to have that much of a cost, because I think that you're going to be giving somebody a twosome, let's say, your property, you put restrictions around where it is, you squeeze them out in some, you know, slower tee times, knowing that you easily could pick up 20,000 new emails is a very small price to pay, in my opinion.
If we're all so slammed now because of this resurgence in golf, why focus on marketing and promotions now if the demand is there?
The primary focus today should be building the database and nurturing the database. Right now, you have a ton of people who are playing golf. That might disappear. And what you want to do, and this goes from the branding side and then also with the database side, build loyalty, build advocism, and build relationships. And you could do that through your database, and you could do it through the user, the customer experience on property. What you do today is going to pay off in spades in 2021, 2022, 2023.
Yeah, I would only add to that.
So you said several.
Go ahead. Sorry, John.
Oh, sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead, Greg. Go ahead.
I would add to that, you know, become an expert in what weddings are going to look like. Become an expert in what events are going to be looking like. You know, be willing to share with your database like how you're going to do events or have webinars like this for people to sign up to, where they can ask questions, and you could talk about your facility and the ways that you can help the consumer, because obviously weddings are down, special events are down, all these business channels are down. You know, start to get them ready for 2021.
I want to interject that oftentimes marketers will look at, well, how many, I put an initiative on, I ran an event, I invested in ads, and only 10 people paid attention. What a waste of time. But take a step back. Were they the 10 right people? Right? In Greg's business, one customer may spend $10,000 a year. Pelican, Monarch, the higher end resort properties, an annual membership, right, is $9,000 to $12,000. To join a golf course in South County is anywhere from $20,000 to $50,000, right? All you need is the right person to validate any initiative at all. Segment, target, compelling, engaging, build advocism, get the right people to become your customers.
Very well.
So you said several times during the you said several times during the presentation, build your email database, nurture your email database. Can you talk a little bit about what you mean when you say nurture?
Okay. Well, segmentation is going to help you nurture people with different mindsets and need states, with different messaging, with different types of content. Surveying is going to create a two-way conversation, and that's important so that you're delivering the kind of content that those that are receiving it will find compelling. Creating a consistent cadence with multiple themes is going to help curb churn, which is nurturing. And, you know, honestly, think about this exclusive concept, and it's listed out in one of our top 10 lists. People want to feel like they're part of a community, that they're an insider. Focus on that, and you're going to focus on those tips, and you're going to be nurturing your database.
And I would only add in, don't always be selling.
Yeah.
I mean, be giving them quality information. I mean, Eric Lohman with the, you know, Monday Mulligan series, he's given great tips from him and his staff. People that are watching, engaging in those videos feel like they're learning something, that they're getting some great free information. And it's not always just like buy all the time.
Is social media as important today as it was, say, 5 years ago?
No.
I mean,
That answer surprises me.
I mean, so what is the goal? I mean, that's the, you know, it's an influencer being somebody that has, like, let's say over 1 million followers, could only create revenue a lot of times by product placement, you know, being paid as an influencer to show up to something, but it's become very hard to link a social media following to a transaction. That's the hardest thing. Like, if we use social media often to get somebody to email opt in, let's say to a contest, that then follow the emails, which more often turn into a transaction.
Yeah.
So that's what the goal is.
It is a loaded question. Is it as important? No. Is it important? Absolutely. But we get approached by companies, and, you know, part of our traditional onboarding is to do an analysis or an audit of their marketing practices. And, you know, similar to the conversation we had with the Irvine company in that 3-month engagement, you know, we recommend that they narrow down and just be better at what they're doing. And then what they're doing, well, let's say they're creating content. Make sure that you feature that content, not just in social media, but on your website, market it through your emails, find ways through traditional means to market it, whether it be flyering. You know, a lot of the properties now have really cool GPS systems that can deliver messages and even video. But no, social media marketing today is not as important as it was, because digital ad buying and email marketing have moved up the ladder.
Okay, we have time for one more question. We've gone a little bit over, but that's typically the sign of a very good presentation, and I thank you both gentlemen for that. Final question. If I've got $10,000 to spend, where do I spend it? How do I spend it?
I would take a step back. I would look at what your projected growth looks like in 2021. I would gain as much perspective from the SCPGA and from news as possible about how the market is going to shift back. And I would think real long and hard about how you can create the strongest relationships with the audience that could be your greatest advocates. And this goes back to building a database, segmenting the database, nurturing the database, one-on-one marketing, strong brand experiences on property. But everybody's need state is going to be different. So there's no cookie cutter answer. But don't be afraid to spend it.
I would add in that I would just have a goal too of having a really good look at our brand, you know, by an expert, be it Chris's company or somebody else, to create, at most a basic email branded template that could be reused and doesn't look like it was built by your sister in 1998. That has no mobile optimization whatsoever, and has typos and dead links and just looks awful. I mean, if you could have a more current themed branded email template that you're going to use 24 times in the next 12 months, I think it would be a good place to put some money. And it would be less than $10,000.
Yeah. If you can get your greens rolling 12, you can create a mobile optimized email.
Very good, gentlemen. On behalf of the Education Committee for the Southern California PGA, thank you very much for being with us on the Catalyst webinar series this morning. For the members that are on the call, we will be sending out the YouTube recording of this morning's presentation from Saint Street and underpar.com. I want to remind everybody that next week, October 29th, speaking of the Irvine Company, next week we have Duncan Sims, Director of Golf at Oak Creek Golf Club. He was the Merchandiser of the Year for the section in 2019, last year. He's going to be talking about his merchandising efforts and some of his marketing strategies when it comes to his retail operation. The following week, November 5th, very excited to have Tom Addis and Jeff Johnson doing a presentation on the Catalyst over the years with the SCPGA, moderated by Eric Lohman. And then, of course, on the 12th, we're following up with Jim Richardson, PGA of America Vice President. So we're very excited. We've got a big couple of weeks there. And then November 19th, we've got Rick Sessinghaus, who is Colin Morikawa's instructor, talking about coaching a PGA champion. So action-packed month coming up on the Catalyst webinar. Again, Chris, Greg, thank you very, very much for your time today. For all the PGA members on the call, thank you very much for supporting the Catalyst webinar series. Take care, everybody. Stay safe. Stay sane.